And hello, what is up, friends? Today I'm so happy to announce to you guys that I'm gonna have a record-breaking harvest, as I'm pretty sure I'm about to harvest over 3 pounds underneath this one light. Now trust me, if that sounds interesting to you, you definitely want to check out the rest of this video, as we're gonna be doing the complete harvest and full weight with dry and cure process of this whole grow right here. Also, if you like the flower and you want to see it turn into some hash or rosin, be sure to stick, because towards the end of the video we're going to be grabbing this flower, bubble washing it, dry freezing it, and then pressing it into some amazing gold honey. Now, genetics did play a really big role on this grow, this being the Trico Jordan by BeLeaf genetics from Boomfiya. The other strain on the other side of the room, that one is the Chimera. The Trico Jordan was definitely the heavy yielder from the two, with a really long stretch but full and covered of beautiful dense buds all the way from the bottom to the top of the plant. All of the buds left, even though they have a really good density and size to them, will be collected for rosin production and will not get counted towards the final dry weight. There's probably about another 250 grams of dry flower left on this table, and I know many growers that would actually go through this and harvest it. However, it just takes too much time, and I think what I harvested already would be close to the 3 pounds, which was our goal. Now, the Chimera yielded a little bit less in flower, but let's talk about one of the reasons why I like it. One, the trimming on it is super fast and is covered in trichomes everywhere. While it may not be the heaviest yielding plant that I've grown, it is absolutely, when it comes to returns and bubble washing and rosin, it was absolutely one of the best returns that we had, coming with 5.9% for the final numbers. And when it comes to the terpenes, they were, oh my god, beautiful, with this red wine kind of taste to it that transfer over to the rosin. And well, here you have it, friends. I started harvesting yesterday at 8 p.m. and it is now 8:50 in the morning. So almost 13 hours later, it took me 13 hours with no breaks to harvest all of this. So keep in mind, guys, if you guys want to do a grow this size, this is the amount of time that is going to take you to harvest. At least for one person, me, by myself, I harvest everything. And this is the part that I hate the most, because it takes this long. And literally, there's probably like 3.5 pounds over there, and maybe like another 2 over here on this side. And it was my knees hurt. Everything hurts right now. But at least we got this done. We're gonna be drying this strictly for flower, dry flower. Always temperature and humidity 65. That's like my favorite when it comes to drying and curing. And all right, friends, when it comes to entrusting the drying and curing process, I actually put a lot of trust into the Spider Farmer Master Control. I did it last time to dry the material that I grew in this 4x4, and now I'm actually drying all of the material that I grew in the room inside of this 4x4, and I'm doing it exactly the same way I did it with the stuff that I grew in this 4x4. It came out great. I loved the results and I loved how easy it was. Temperatures right now a little high, 67, but that's about the temperature in the garage. Humidity is around 64%, which is fine. I like to keep it anywhere close or as close as possible to 65 for at least 10 to 12 days. On day 13 or on day 14, if it's ready to come down and trim, I would go ahead and lower the humidity probably to like 55%, and then I would go ahead and start trimming it because it'll make it a lot easier. But so far, this master control pretty much takes care of all my drying and the curing process from start to finish. I use the 6-inch inline fan, but then again, depending on what settings I have it on. So it may come on, it may not come on for quite a while in order to bring the humidity down. If we have like a humidity spike, it'll go ahead and turn this on, bring the humidity down to 65 again. But I haven't had any issues since I started using this to dry and to cure. Now everything is perfectly separated from each other, just the right distance, and this is actually the perfect space for this amount of flour. And like I said, I only have a couple of more days to go before I have to trim all of this. As for ventilation in here, I do use the Spider Farmer 6-inch oscillating fan just to blow air right here away from the flour, not directly on the flour whatsoever. And I do have a humidifier in here just in case it gets too dry. This will go ahead and kick on as a safety. But so far it's been going on par, just like the last harvest that I dried in here. It's looking great, and we'll be done here in like the next couple of days. Now the reason I took the approach with the 4x4 in the controller is because it's a lot easier for me to control the humidity inside of a 4x4. And we also have a shitload when it comes to making some live rosin, and that is because we have this cooler filled again, and there's some big buds in this bag. Actually, let me show you guys real quick. Will ya see? This is the kind of buds we have in there. We have the whole everything. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the size of that bud. But I just could not do it. It would have taken me another like 4 or 5 hours if I was to try to make this into dry flour. It would have taken me forever. So at a certain point, I would just fuck it. Let's just make live rosin out of it, because I'm so tired. By the 10th hour in, I just want to get out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's time to enjoy some prank calls with Roy.
Oh, shit.
So sit down, relax, and shut the fuck up. Roll up some weed or whatever you need, and fill up your Four Loko cup. He's changing your number while kissing your lips and killing the grass on your lawn. Then he asks you to meet by the Dairy Queen street. But the moment you get there, he's already gone. It's the snowplow show. We know that you stole our blue pen. It's the snowplow show. Don't give us snake eyes again, motherfucker.
Now, the Trichojordan, which was the heavy yielding flower, produced about 55 grams of dried material that is ready to press, and the Chimera produced 51 grams of dried material ready to press. Once we pressed it, the return on the Trichojordan was 30 grams, and the return on the Chimera was 40 grams, almost exactly. And in the rosin, there were distinct characteristics that led you right back to the strain. The Trichojordan had a very pine kind of taste, a lot of pining, I guess you could call it, and kind of earthy, really earthy, like a mushroom and pine taste to it. While the Chimera, on the other hand, the rosin has like this sweet, and the red wine still transfer over towards the Chimera. The rosin is a tint darker, and the consistency is a tiny bit different after it cured, but absolutely the red wine smell, it is there, and it is very unique. And it yielded, again, one of the biggest returns. Out of 51 grams, we ended up getting 40 grams back of rosin, which is a pretty cool number. When it comes to the effects, I am so glad it does not make me tired. None of the strains, neither the Chimera or the Trichojordan. I could pretty much smoke rosin from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, and it's not gonna make me tired or sleepy, which is one of the things that I really do like about these strains. I don't know, guys, it is so hard to choose between the flower and the rosin, just because there's so much taste in the rosin, and it is so potent that, I don't know, I just find myself wanting the rosin, or wanting to mix it, or wanting to mix up the flower with the opposite strains rosin. I've been kind of playing back and forth, but absolutely some of the best rosins I have ever tried. The taste, I cannot say this enough, it is through the roof. The whole time that we were pressing, I could smell it in the garage, and even when I left my homeboy's house, he could smell it outside of his house. So the smell was definitely one of the most potent smell, but it was just so peculiar. That red wine, and then the other strain had that pine, that when I first washed these two strains, I blended them together, and I swear to you, it tasted like Irish Spring soaps. If you were to grab these two strains and put them together, that's exactly what it tastes like. But separate, man, they have such a different profile, and I'm really happy with the results and how everything came out. And now, friends, if you made it to minute 1420 and you haven't given this video a like and you're not subscribed, I really don't know what to tell you. But I'll tell you this though, I'll apologize because I couldn't squeeze the finished dry weight into the 15-minute video that I'm only allowed to by my editing software. So I'll tell you what, guys, I'll leave you with a time lapse that you're only going to see here. It's going to be pretty much like the full time lapse from beginning to end of this massive growth that you just seen me harvest just now. So be sure to hit that subscribe button because you're not going to want to miss this next time lapse. I'm going to talk about so many things that went on during this grow. You're not going to want to miss it. But okay, friends, until next time, this was Grass in Class. Peace.